In 2024, a Dzud swept across the Mongolian steppe and killed more than 7 million livestock in under 3 months. 30% of the population was directly affected, and this was not the first time. But what's strange is not that Dzud happened. What's strange is people stayed. The rest of the world builds walls to resist nature. The Mongols built an entirely mobile civilization to dissolve into it. In the next 42 minutes, you will see exactly that system, the architecture, the ecology, and the philosophy that allowed people to live in conditions that kill millions of livestock for 3,000 years. No electricity, no concrete, no central heating. So why have people chosen to live here for 3,000 years? And why haven't they changed? There are 3 parts. Part 1. What is Dzud and why people still choose to stay? Part 2. The 3 layers of physical survival technology that kept them alive. Otog, Ger and Kure. Part 3. The seasonal migration system that has worked like an internal GPS for 3,000 years, and why the modern world is relearning it. 42 minutes. No mid-roll ads. The Mongols don't have a separate word for harsh winter. They have a separate word for something worse. Dzud is not just snow. It happens when a dry summer leaves livestock without enough fat to survive winter. Then winter arrives with a layer of ice sealing the ground, not loose snow, a hard sheet of glass. The grass is right there underneath, but the livestock can't dig through the ice. They starve to death while standing on a pasture. In 2024, one Dzud killed 7.1 million livestock, about 1/4 of the entire national herd, in under 3 months. And this was not the first Dzud, nor will it be the last. The Mongols have known this long before any international aid organization existed. So the question is not, why don't they leave? The question is, what different question do they ask from the rest of us? The Mongolian steppe is not just a harsh land. Summer here is genuine abundance, grass knee-high, livestock well-fed, daylight stretching to nearly midnight. Winter is the price of that. The Mongols don't fight this cycle. They design their lives around it, completely, thoroughly, without exception. Dzud is not a random disaster. It is the periodic test of a civilization that chose to live with nature rather than against it. But if you can't escape Dzud, what do people build to stand firm? The answer begins with how they choose where to set up camp. People often think the nomadic survival system is instinct or blind tradition. It isn't. This is design, tested through 3,000 years of Dzud. Layer 1, site selection. The Mongols call a winter settlement Otog, and choosing Otog is not about finding a beautiful or convenient place. It is a problem of geometry and meteorology. They don't choose the hilltop, too exposed to wind. They don't choose the deep valley floor, cold air pools there. They choose the south-facing slope, the place that receives maximum solar radiation in the short winter days. A south-facing slope can be a few degrees warmer than its surroundings, the thin margin between life and death on a Dzud night. The right location is only step 1. Step 2 is what most of us have seen but never truly understood, the Ger. The Ger is not a tent. It is a complete thermodynamic engineering structure, and you will see why right now. The felt layer, made from compressed sheep wool, contains millions of tiny air pockets, the same mechanism as the sheep's own fleece. A winter Ger can be lined with up to 12 such layers. The temperature difference between inside and outside, 40 to 50 degrees Celsius. Outside, -50. Inside, 0 to 5. Enough for people to sleep. Enough for the stove to hold. Enough for the young animals to survive the night. Why circular, not aesthetics? A circle optimizes the surface area to volume ratio, meaning less surface exposed to cold, less heat lost, compared to a square of the same floor area, about 30% less. The Ger works like a thermos flask. The outer layer blocks wind, the inner layer retains heat. The spherical shape optimizes the thermal ratio, not a metaphor. It is the same physical principle. At the center of the Ger is the Dzud stove. It doesn't just radiate heat, it creates a complete convection system. Hot air rises, exits through the tonneau opening at the top, expels toxic gases, and warmth circulates evenly from the center outward. But a single Ger standing alone, however well engineered, is still just one warm point in a vast steppe. The Mongols don't stop there. Mongolian nomads don't set up their tents randomly. They arrange the camp in a circle, families on the outside, livestock in the middle. This formation has a name, Kure. A herd of 100 sheep generates enough heat to raise the temperature of the central area by 5 to 10 degrees Celsius compared to the surroundings. That is not a custom. That is a biological heating system. And on the most dangerous Dzud nights, the young animals, newborn lambs, young goats, are brought inside the ger to sleep alongside the people. Not romantic sentiment, this is critical asset management. 3 layers working together. Otog selects the position. Ger retains the heat inside. Kure creates a microclimate outside. No single layer is sufficient alone. The Mongols don't fight minus 50 degrees. They engineered a 3-layer system so that the temperature inside no longer depends on the temperature outside. The best fortress is worthless if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. So how do they know when to move and where to go?
3,000 years is not a number meant to impress. It is the number of times this system has been tested and passed.
Mongolian nomads move 4 times a year, each time to a specific type of location with its own name, not wandering. This is a precise migration calendar called Dervan Uleich. 4 camps for 4 seasons. The spring camp, Kavagja, on a south-facing slope to catch the early warmth. The summer camp, Zuzline, on the plateau near water and fresh grass. The autumn camp, Namarja, where livestock accumulate fat for winter. The winter camp, Oliji, the Otog site, carefully chosen. Each camp may be tens to hundreds of kilometers apart. No GPS, no paper maps.
The guide is community memory.
Passed down by word of mouth from parent to child, across hundreds of generations.
That knowledge includes how to read clouds to know when Dzud is coming, how to read the color of snow to know how thick the ice layer underneath is, how to read livestock behavior to know when to move urgently. In 2013, UNESCO recognized Mongolian nomadic knowledge and the traditional art of making ger as intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Not because it was interesting, but because this is a knowledge system under threat with global value. And here is the part most Mongolia videos miss. Nomads don't live this way because they have no choice. They live this way because this is the system that works best in this environment. When they leave camp, they leave no trace on the ground. The ger is dismantled in 2 hours. The stakes are pulled up. The earth returns to its original state as if no one had ever been there. They don't possess, they borrow, and return it exactly as they found it. The modern world is slowly relearning this under names like circular economy, low-impact design, regenerative land use. The Mongols don't need to name it, they simply live it. And the question raised earlier, how do they know when to move? The answer is that calendar has been written into the community's DNA. It cannot be stolen, it cannot be copied, it can only be lived. What do they leave behind after 3,000 years? No monuments, no ruins, no books, but there remains a complete civilization still running. Let me bring it back to 3 things. Dzud is not a disaster for the Mongols. It is the periodic test that they have built a system to pass for 3,000 years. The 3 layers of engineering, Otog, Ger, Kure, are not outdated traditions. They are a thermodynamic and ecological system fully optimized. No further improvement needed because nothing better exists for this environment. The migration calendar and the philosophy of leaving no trace is a 3,000-year-old answer to the question the modern world is still struggling with. How do you live sustainably in an environment you cannot control? No electricity, no concrete, no central heating. And they haven't changed because they don't need to. Their system has been optimized through 3,000 years of Dzud. We cannot say the same of any system we are using today. The Mongols don't survive winter, they belong there. If this video gave you a new perspective on human intelligence, on how unnamed civilizations solved problems we still have no answer to, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. The next video in this series comes from a place even more extreme, and from people who chose to live there for reasons even more surprising. Thank you for watching.